Good morning, and good morning. Okay, I am here. I'm happy. It's a Friday, so the weekend is on. I'm excited about what am I going to do this weekend. A few things that were not planned. I'm going to do. I'm going to certainly go and I'm going to attend a funeral of a friend. They just have been good people all of the years that I've known them, and the husband has passed, so I am going to do that. But you know, I'm going to find something else that can be much more enjoyable than that. I'm going to go to a hat show and a tea, so I'm going to do that also on the same day, which is tomorrow. I was hoping I was going to go to Bucky's, but Bucky's is just a place that I can go and just stand around and look at all the people and all the assortment of things they have to for you to buy or eat. I'm not so much on the eating stuff, but I they just have some unusual stuff over there. So I'm hoping to go to do that, but maybe not this weekend. It may be too jam packed with stuff to do. But anyway, I found a word that really kind of said something to me. I was talking to someone and we were talking about, literature and, music. And I said, genre. Why would I have not used that word? So to me, genre is one of those words that just makes sense to me because I have an appetite for a lot of different things music, literature. It could be a certain style of clothing that I like. It's my genre, and it's how it's my personality. It's my behavior. It's my way of just doing the way I like to live my life. And so I was thinking, there's so many things in terms of genre that's out there that's pretty cool. Like when we think of literature, what type of literature do you like? Are you a person who likes to read? Are you a person who likes the audio books? Like I have an audio book um, file that I keep up with through Audible, and sometimes I get a chance to go in there and read some words, or let it read out to me, and other times I don't. But it's much more convenient. Sometimes I will put it on in the car while I'm driving, so I can't read, of course, if I'm driving. So that's a good way to get some, what I would say, some good content in, some good, interesting stuff in. So when I was running down my list of things that of all kinds of literature, I said there's just so many that I kind of enjoy. Good morning, Marion. How are you, my friend? Good to see you in the space. Good to see you. Good morning, Joan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm talking about genre this morning and how we have our own little way of how we might embrace words or embrace, music or dance or whatever it is. Those are different genres, and we especially may like the fact that genres kind of make up the personalities that we stand in. And so, I was looking at literature, and I know Joan likes poetry. I do too. I don't know if Marion does, but poetry talks about fiction, nonfiction. You want a story that someone's made up, or a story that's based on truth. Novels, drama. Sometimes I used to love to read love stories. That used Romance novels used to be really big for me, and I loved Sheldon Leonard. I could read every one of his books and always thought there was a twist and a turn. Always, always. And to me, that was exciting, to just see that. But they also have science fiction. Never really cared much for science fiction, me personally. How about you? Also, it has historical fiction. You know, um, I kind of like historical things, historical facts. Sometimes I love documentaries. I like it in the form where they've actually done all the research and I don't have to read about it, but I can hear about it, which means I get more, information in me. Hold on a minute. I got to make sure my computer doesn't. Does it turn off? Hold on one. I had it upstairs and didn't realize that I hadn't plugged it in when I came back down earlier. And let there be light. Yes, I don't want that to go. So for me, I love short stories too. Sometimes a short love poetry, words are put to song. Absolutely, and that's what's wonderful about music and words. Poetry sometimes becomes music. You know, um, we never realize that one may enhance the other. Sometimes music without words is beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I don't want to hear any words. I just want to listen to the music, and to me that speaks to me, whereas other times the words add to the music. I have a friend, he always thought words subtracted from the music. He wanted to just hear all of the melodies, all of the rhythm, all of the tempo. That's what he wanted. He said it did something to him. um for me, I have moods. I have moods, and I have a favorite here in a minute, and it talks about fable tales, memoirs. To me, I think a memoir is good. I think everybody should write a few things about themselves so that their children may know more about them, or their offspring, or their generations beyond, where us being here, that somebody would say, wow, she did this and she did that, didn't know that. Because sometimes with history it just gets buried. So when people actually discover it later on, they say, well, I didn't know anything about that. I never knew anything about my grandparent, my great grandparent. um, Autobiographies, wow, I think that's good. The late Octavia Butler was an African American science fiction writer. Yes. Now I've heard of her. I never read any of her information in books, but I have heard of her. And that's a wonderful thing about literature. Once you're gone, somebody can still go back and read it if it's something that you're writing about, you found a passion for, and you're understanding what I call the goodness of words. Then they have literary fiction, adventure fiction, legend, um, tragedy. I never really liked any of the tragedy stuff, like Shakespeare stuff and some of that. And that's because it was written in what I would call like more old English, or English. That's like, even for me, the translation of the Bible, I want the newer, pardon my expression, I want a newer, more modernized version, so it's easier to understand or give to other people as to the understanding and the significance of the words. And sometimes the we's, the they's, and the thou's got people mixed up. And if you're already having trouble with the English that we speak now, then that may be a real critical, error for you that you can't get over. Um, so we use the New King James Version at my church. But then they also have the American Bible, the Living Bible. They have so many others, which I think are cross pollination to help you understand it with just using other words. They have sonnets, genre fiction, and narrative nonfiction. These were just some of the ones that I came up with. But here's where my real rise is, because y'all know I'm a music head. I absolutely love music. Love it, love it, love it. Live by it all the time. When I get in the car, you cannot mess with my radio, because my radio is always, for me, it's on watercolors. Sunday morning, it may be on Kurt Franklin's Praise, or it may be on some of the local stations. And I do listen to some of like if there's local people in some of the local stations, I will listen to them as well. But I am just a jazz head. That's what I call myself. But they have rock music, pop music. I like some pop music, popular music, rhythm and blues. How many like rhythm and blues? I have a girlfriend now. She's younger than me, much younger, and she loves rhythm and blues. She says the blues sometimes really tells the story, and it does. It does. You know, you listen to it. She left me at 5 and came back at 10 o'clock that night and said, I still want you back. Come on now. That's what they have. It says one of my favorite poems is Invictus by William Henley. I don't know that one. I need to read that. Thank you for putting it there. I'll go back and look it up. But yeah, I think we need to be exposed as much as we can to differences, you know, and we have our own preferences, our own genres within ourselves. I think it's a part of us. It's who we are. It's what we end up liking. There's also the blues, there's the country music. I didn't think I liked country music, but a lot of country music is also switches over to R&B just from the lyrics alone, and they just give it a different, you know, what I would call a different flair, a different tempo, and a different music style that changes it totally. You know, we just didn't know that. You know, I think even songs like "I'll Always Love You" by Dolly Parton, sung by Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston made it where it became a popular crossover song that started in country. See, I love that, you know, just the fact that it doesn't matter where it started from. It matters that people can get the understanding of it and the significance of it just by moving it elsewhere. Classical music. When I was studying for my doctorate, the only music I ever played was classical. And the and I probably can hear those high notes in my head all the time. The only I would say, you know, composer that I loved, artist was you know, and it just went out my head. But anyway, I'll come back to that in a second. But he was like number one. He's like number one when it comes to playing classical music. But I love all of that kind of stuff. Then they also have heavy metal. They have alternative rock, soul music. How many of you grew up? I grew up on soul music. I grew up on soul music. Absolutely loved it. Good morning, Maurice. Today we're talking about genre. Okay. Dance music. You know, dance music was really, really popular. People still dance now, but you know, they went to swing dancing and hand dancing and cha-chas and you name it, they had it. But it all needed to be supported by music. You know, you just didn't dance, you danced with music. And so that became a connection to people being connected to each other just through the dance. And then they have electronic dance music, punk rock. Every time I used to, I went to a school. My school was all white, and there were like maybe 300 students, 300 African American and Hispanic students out of maybe 7,000 students. So we would always hear punk rock, and some of us got to like it. I wasn't one of them, but some of us did. Then they have, you know, folk music. And I like folk music. Joan Baez and all of those people, you know. I always thought they were really cool to listen to music that kind of set the stage for, you know, James Taylor going to California in the morning, you know, that going to Carolina in the morning. I love that. You know, just to me, those songs were settling, you know, and they came about at a time that, you know, there was, you know, some unrest and lots of crazy stuff going on, like drugs or whatever. And even though I wasn't involved in them, that still gave me trepidation or fear that things were happening that were out of my control. And that's true. They were, you know, we couldn't do much with it. So music and literature has set the tone of our lives. We've lived through periods when things were popular, you know, what is it? 50 Shades, you know, all of those kinds of things. Everybody remembers when all of these books, this music became extremely popular and people knew to tie into it, you know, and there were huge sales, you know, on different bookstore lines, online or in person. Because at one time, I mean, I never knew, we didn't have online book sales when I was coming along. You know, if you ordered a book, you ordered it probably by the phone and then it came, and you were glad to get it, or you bought it in a bookstore, a physical bookstore. But so when we talk about this word genre, we talk about a category of artistic composition, as in literature, music, characterized by similarities in form and style or subject matter. There's some people you can't tell them that they are not a certain way. This is what they do. Oh, wait a minute. I had to put on my glasses, Matthew. Hold on one second. It says, music knows no race and speaks to hearts without prejudice, souls, gospel, country, metal. I've been raised by the world in many different styles of music, raised about Bob Marley and the metal to singing a gospel choir and some different music. I listened to it all because all spoke to me and my soul. Me too. Absolutely. I used to do magical singing. I don't know if anyone's ever known of madrigals. And madrigals is like 4 and 8 part harmony music that is sung a cappella, very close in terms of the ranges, but you had to be dead on. And there were only 8 of us singing at a time, or 4 of us singing at a time, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And it would be called, I would say 15th century, 14th century singing, maybe 16th, but it was cool stuff. So sometimes you don't even know. I started school as a voice major. How I got in all this other stuff, I don't know. But I started as a voice major. So music, we were raised with music. My father and mother, like you, Matthew, played music. We had music in our house 24/7, every single day. During the morning, the evening, the afternoon. Sunday morning, don't play nothing but gospel for my mother. But the rest of the time, it was either jazz, or it might have been, and my father liked real jazz. The contemporary jazz, not so much, because it was just not, it wasn't as big. It was starting to be more avant-garde-ish, but it really wasn't there at the time when my father was living. But I got to see all of that, and starting as a voice major, that meant I was singing gospel, I was singing classical, I was singing all those things that really said wow, and I was exposed to some of everything. And so my touch in life, in many instances, has been through music. My dissertation was, examining military, preparation for the civilian workforce. Get this, using rhythmic language in jazz. Now that's been, 19 years ago. So that'll tell you how long it's been in my soul that that's what I wanted to do. That's what I needed to do. Good morning, Rhonda. We had music playing. You did. This is my niece, which is the daughter of my sister Shirley. She was the same way. You go to their house 24/7. You go to any of the Gary houses, we had music playing 24/7. So I understand what Matthew's saying. Rhonda, I get it. And I grew up like that. So music is in me. And I believe music can also help you move to other areas. So anyway, I ask you this morning, are you stuck? Are you stuck on a certain music type, or do you like all music? Or in all literature? Some people, now I don't want science fiction. I'm not going to read science fiction. Just not going to do it. And but I will read a love story. I love history, all those kinds of things. I will read it, yes. But when I break my word down this morning and I start with the G, I put down genuine. It says, indeed, what something is said to be authentic. It is indeed what it says it is to be. Meaning that if something is genuine, that's it. It might be in its purest sense. It may have some alterations because I believe everything can be altered. You may start with something. You may start with the basis of something, and eventually somebody's going to come in and say, look, we're going to add a different beat here, and this is going to change it a little bit. People do that. They do it all the time. So it talks about, when something is genuine, it's authentic, it's actual, it's original. When something is authentic, it says it's bona fide, verifiable, genuine. That's right. Absolutely. That's right. It says unaltered, unalterated. attestable, etched and valid, you know, okay, generate, yes, absolutely. So when we think about, who we are, and who we are is made up of all of these things that we've been exposed to, we've experienced, we've, thought about, dreamed about, written about, lived. That's who we are. And sometimes it comes out in the way we behave, certainly what we listen to, where we will go, what entertains us, what soothes us, what makes us cry. All of those things are tied up with emotion and connection and vibe. That's what I talked about, our vibe, our style. All of that's caught up in the genres of things that we like to do and things that we've got accustomed to doing. When I moved further on in the world of this word genre, I come with my E being enthusiastic. Most people, you cannot talk them down, okay, from something that they love. Like, I have some friends that do not like, jazz at all. Okay. They think it's a horrible music. I absolutely love it. It says, my G is for greatness. Oh, I like that. I like that. And edify. Okay. Edify. Put high. Yes. Um, I love jazz, so I'm there with it, Ooh, ebullient. I got that down here. Come on now, Rhonda. That's my last letter. Don't Okay, you trying to get ahead of your auntie. But that's good. We'll come back to that word in a minute. But when something is enthusiastic, it's having or showing intense or eager enjoyment. You enjoy it. It is what it is. There's an interest there. It's for your approval. You're not asking everybody to like what you like. You do what you do. But I could go and hear some live jazz, and I like the contemporary. The other's okay. The real jazz is okay, but I love the contemporary. I can sit my chair down and I don't have to get up, okay, except to go get a cool drink, and I'm going to come back and sit down again. Love it. That's how much I love it. So, enthusiastics talks about, the fact that you're eager. There's a need for it to be enjoyed. It says that you're avid, you're fervent, you're passionate. How many of are passionate about what we do? I am. If I tell you I already have jazz tickets for next year in Panama City, which is Seabreeze Jazz, and I'm considered like a regular attendee. So they send me my tickets, right away. So like if I attended in April, by the beginning of May, they already have next year's tickets out. And that's when they're the cheapest. So that's when I buy them. I don't wait until I get all the way up to the event and they want to charge me all this money extra. It's like, no, it should only be so much a day. I don't want to pay all of that. And I'm done. That's the only time I check out of any work beyond just listening. I'm just going to go listen to my music. I hardly eat their food because they made it now where it is a requirement that everything is done on a band and it's connected to your bank account. So they no longer, it's cashless. So everything you go walk around, and I think it's too expensive. So I said, $10 and $5 for a water, the waters that you can buy in the Dollar Tree. I'm telling you. So, but that's the price I pay, so I save up for it. I do. I save up for it. So being enthusiastic also talks about being zealous, excited, energetic, lively, energized, and fiery. I think when we have something that we love, if it's a book, I used to sometimes get books like Mario Puzo's books. I used to read when I was in Italy and pregnant with my daughter. I read every book that he had. And oh my goodness, I was all caught up in it. I was walking around Italy thinking that I was going to run into, the mafia. Come on now. They probably were there, but they didn't look like the book was having them look, when they were walking around with three-piece suits on and their overcoats hanging over their shoulders and having, people standing all around the number one guy. I'm thinking, wow, I was waiting to see it. I didn't see it. And I was there for 4 years. Easy listening. Okay, easy listening music. I like easy listening music. That's what they give you when you go and you sell, and they have you buy up everything in the store. They've studied this for years, and that was part of my doctorate in looking at how music influences the military. And so, obviously it influences us in other things, buying food, going out to dinner. It sets the atmosphere for us to do what they expect us to do, which is spend, eat, stay longer, which means that they get more money. So there it is. When I move further on in my word, I have niche or niche, however you pronounce it. Some people pronounce it as they have a certain niche for something. And it says that means it talks about products and services or interests that appeal to a small group of people, specialized in sections of the population. It says also it's a place of employment or status or an activity for which a person or thing best fits. Now everybody knows that if there's a certain store you go to that you love going to, it may have just what I would call, specialized things that they sell. Maybe it's dresses and hats, maybe it's ties, maybe it's, men's hats for fishing, just certain things. They know what to do. They know how to get the niche out there that we can say, I'm going to this store because they sell what I'm looking for. They sell what I love. I started getting into RSB Loftly lately, just to chill through the chaos. Really, I've never done that. R&B, I can't understand you. Is that R&B? Yeah, I love to chill. I'm gonna tell you that. When I'm studying, it's classical, but when I'm just wanting to be quiet, it's probably going to be some old school R&B. Oh, R&B. Yeah. I love R&B. I've never been to the R&B Lofty though. Spell check. We got you, Matt. We got you, Matthew. Thank you so much for coming in today. I thank all of y'all. I appreciate it. We're doing good with this, where people are starting to catch on and understand that, I'm just here as a helper. Have a little 35, 40 minutes of just talking stuff and enjoying life. It says niche. It says it's finally found her niche. That means, when you find something that you love, you get comfortable. You just get comfortable. And it says it's the ideal position for you. It could be your way of life, your place of enjoyment, your calling. How many of us have been called to do other things just by settling into something that we started doing? I know that whoever thought that I would be doing what I'm doing now, when I started out singing, and then I went to counseling, and then I went to education, and here I am, an education consultant that sings. Who knows? You never know the path that you're going to take. Just get on the path. Find a way. So it says find your trade, your position, or your occupation. That's your niche. You know what it is, or where you want to go to drink coffee, or or where you want to eat for lunch, or where you want to buy certain outfits. That could be your niche. When I move further on my word, my R is for rhythm. And remember, I told you that I looked at rhythm when I was writing my doctorate. And the reason I looked at rhythm, because rhythm, just like music, has a cadence. It has a cadence. The rhythm of something that you read that's poetic. You know it. You get the understanding of how rhythm was used. And a lot of times people who are rhythmic are also, musicians and writers. They may write the lyrics and then write the music, or they may write the music, and go to somebody else who can help them with the lyrics, just to make sure that the rhythm remains the same and that they connect in a way that makes it not only something to hear over and over again, but something that makes you comfortable in your skin. You just like it. You like the sound of it. And there's been a couple of songs that I've heard for the first time that actually have stilled me, kept me stationary, and I had to find the song and play it again. And one of them is God Has Been So Good, and I'm trying to think of her name, Harmony. I heard that song for the first time. That was it. I was sending it out to everybody. So y'all got to listen to this song because this girl got this music. She has it. So rhythm, what is rhythm? Radiance, range. I love those. Radiance and range is really good. Because sometimes when we think about music, there is some radiance to it. And the range may be the level of what I would call high and lows in the music. It may be how high the voices go, or how low you can hear, some of the treble clef in the music. What do you hear? And it to me, it's exhilarating, especially if it's a sound that I like to hear. So rhythm, to me, it says, and actually Marion says it, it says it's strong, it's regular, it's repeated pattern of movement of sound, and even though, when we look at words, sometimes in terms of poetry, we don't even realize that there's a rhythm with the poetry. Listen to Maya Angelou, Langston Hughes, that all poems, many of them do have their own rhythm, and some do not. Some purposefully do not have rhythm because they're asking that each thought be separated and not connected. Not connected. They're just looking at it differently. Rare. I like that. That's a good word, because sometimes when you have rhythm, the rhythm may be off. And so the rareness of it may be how they connected sound, how they connected the beats, how they connected the genre of music you were listening to. So I love that. So rhythm is tempo. It's going to be regular feature, recurrent feature. It could be the flow, or it's the pattern, how it's all put together, and there's research is really good, because how many people research what it is that they're coming out with in terms of their own genre. Most of the times they're going to know when Bob Marley came out with his first song. They're going to know what was his biggest seller, all those kinds of things. Usually when people are caught up in a genre, they know all the particulars of it. They love it. They absolutely love it. It's a part of them. It's a part of their life. It's just how they walk and talk. It's how they walk and talk. Now, my niece came up with ebullient. It's ebullient. Ebullient is good. That's a great word, and I've used it before. And it's cheerful and full of energy. Usually when we're in our own genre, we're going to be cheerful and full of energy, because we're going to be telling people about it, excited. Hey, did you know this? Have you seen this? That is ebullient. It says basically there's some buoyancy to you. Some cheerfulness. I can get real excited when I'm getting ready to go listen to some jazz. I'm not going to lie. And I've gotten it down to, if I think somebody wants to go that, with us, that might not like it or want to have too many other demands, the only demand that we do is that we're there when the gates open, and that we leave just before the last act, gets done with the last 2-3 songs. Then we're done. We've seen everything. We're just trying to get ahead of the crowd. And when we're trying to come ahead of the crowd. But it's always crowded, probably between, I'm going to say 18,000 maybe to 20,000 people. Always crowded, always a good crowd. And after a while, you get to see the same people. Hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you. Good seeing you. You make friends. I reach out for the part of me that lives in you, that only out 2 hearts can find poetry to music and song. Stevie Wonder, absolutely. Absolutely. I was getting ready to say that sounds like a Stevie Wonder song. Stevie's bad. That's a bad brother. He's been doing that thing of putting, words to his music for years and years and years. And to me, that is such a gift. Now I've written some songs, but but I've never released anything. One of these days I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna stand up on what I can do. Good morning, Adelia. Glad to have you today. Our word was genre. I'm on the last word today, but you can come back and look and listen. If you all don't do anything else for me, just hit share. Like and share. You can say love and share, and send it out to the world so that we can keep getting these rankings that Meta is doing. That apparently I am at least engaging people online, and so that means that's important. And a lot of people look at this after it's over, and I go back and look, and I'm also very surprised. If you find something that is good for you, hold on to it. Absolutely. You gotta, and a lot of times we know it, but it's hard for us to get back to it because the world has us busy. There's so many distractions. And for me, I find that I will come in, do all the stuff I have to do out there, attend board meetings, run a meeting, run around, go do stuff for the city or whatever I'm going to do. And when I come in, I close my door. I go upstairs. I put on my music. I unwind. And see, a lot of times we don't do that. We're like still wound up. 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. We're still wound up because we have a lot to do. But getting back to ebullient, it says cheerful and full of energy. Breezy. How many of you have seen breezy people? Sometimes I'm breezy. Sunny, lighthearted, jaunty, and elated. That's what music does to me. That's what literature, that's what words do to me. When I tell you, when I finished my doctorate, especially with having a lot of naysayers and said, well, you don't really need that anyway. You do well. And I said, listen, it wasn't given to you. It was given to me. And I believe that anything that is given to us, be it music, be it an idea, be it, a composition of something that you're working on, literary wise or whatever, it's you. It was given to you. What's yours is yours. Your genre, that's who you are. That's a part of what you like to do, what music you like to listen to, where you like to go to, what you're all about. That's you. It doesn't require anybody's approval. You do you. You absolutely do you. Comedy does that for me. I love comedy too. I love comedy. Celebrious. Wait a minute, I need to read it right. Salubrious. I have to look that word up because I don't know what it is. What is that word, Matthew? Salubrious. Let us know. If you introduce words that we don't know, or I'm not that familiar with that particular word, just write a little note right next to it so that everybody can look it up. And because that's what this session is that we're adding, we're discussing, but we're also adding to who we are, that we're exposed to more things and more people and more words. To me, words, if you look on my Facebook page, words, can cause us to where we don't have to look back. We can look forward because we've changed the meaning of some of what we were called in our past, or how people described us and what hurt us and what took us down. So we just move forward. We move forward. But health giving, yes, health giving. That's good. Thank you. That's a good word. I'm going to use it. I love it. Thank you, Matthew. Look, everybody tell Matthew, thank you, Matthew. That's what we do. It's not that I'm the teacher. It's that we're teaching each other. We're teaching each other. It's a cohesive, whoever comes in, they can come in, jump in when they want to. And if they have something to do, they can jump out. But we're just saying, this is our lives. This is our lives. We thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll be back on Monday. But this weekend, here's what I want you to do. I always give you light homework. Here's the homework. I want you to find a genre of something you want to do this weekend. It can be in literature, it can be with your music, but do something that builds you up, makes you get to the point where you feel genuine in who you are, enthusiastic about what you're doing, finding your own niche on who you're all about, finding your rhythm, maybe dancing and maybe not. And of course, being, ebullient about it. The fact that you're going to be happy and excited, lighthearted, and all into you. You can do that. You don't have to call on anybody else. You can close that door just like I closed my door and get into you. Okay, the best way you can. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Hit the like and share, or love and share. Pass this on so that it can get out there in the world, that we continue to try to strive to do good. Okay. Listen, I am a Rotarian, and I tell you, I believe in serving. So this is also my service. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Be safe this weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye. Have a good